Hi guys, I just recently, and when I say recently, I mean like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, I finished Dishonored. Now I know this game came out last year, like September of last year or something crazy like that. Well, it came out a while ago. So obviously I'm a little late on this, and not a big deal because I like to go back to games that even though they're a little old, I mean, just because they're old doesn't mean they're bad. But the thing about this is that I actually got this game at launch. So I started playing it right after I got it at launch or at release. And I started playing it, and I got to around level 4, level 5. And I think I beat level 4. So I beat level 4, and I had some other game I had just bought like used or something like that, really cheap, like Fallout 3 or something. I don't know. And so I started playing that, and I just got totally consumed by the other game instead, and I pretty much abandoned this for, a long period of time. It didn't grasp me the way other games can do, a really good game can do. And that's really unfortunate, I think, because like a lot of this game does do a lot of like really cool things. It has a lot of great features. Basically, what a lot of people have said is that it takes a lot of inspiration from Deus Ex and other games like maybe Assassin's Creed and BioShock and stuff like that. So you take all these parts and you mix it together, and you bake a cake of a game out of it, and out comes Dishonored. So with all these great features and, well, the mixture of all these great elements from these great games, this game should be freaking awesome, shouldn't it? I can't honestly say that it is. Um, for whatever reason, it doesn't have a lot of the magic that the other games that I mentioned have, especially BioShock and Deus Ex. I think they have a unique flavor that, and you just have a magic that you can't necessarily. It's hard to put into words, but um, they just molded their environments, their music, their atmosphere, their characters so meticulously, and they combined in such a great way that it made it like a real experience. And this game, I think, really misses the mark in that regard. None of the characters really feel alive. Um, you'll talk to them, and occasionally you'll have some choice to make, but I mean, they don't feel alive. They feel like a painting. Like, I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's partially due to the art style and the graphic style, but they don't move. They have no emotion on their face. Their face always looks the same. They always have the same facial expression, and that sucks. Like with today's gaming or graphics in today's gaming, um, it like they're pushing the envelope in terms of facial animation and emotional expression, um, in regards to character interaction. And this game, it totally throws that out the window. It says we don't need to do that. The story itself it's okay. I mean, it explores themes that we've seen before, but many things do, and it's not necessarily a bad thing as long as you can bring some unique flavor to the table. But unfortunately, I don't think the presentation is really good enough for me to care about the story. None of the characters are really all that interesting either. So So what you have after all these, considering all these factors, is just it a relatively what's the right word? Anticlimactic, maybe. Like you're expecting, like, all right, at some point this game is going to turn into a BioShock. or a Deus Ex, and it just never does. Dunwall, the world in which you explore, it's a city, and it's like I don't know, it's difficult for me to accurately describe, like many things in this video are. um, but it's basically a city in ruins, and from a long time ago, and there's a lot of like cyberpunk mechanisms, and buildings, and just fortresses and stuff like that. So you have like an old style, Victorian style London inspired city being, and on top of that, you have like these like futuristic cyberpunk, like Half-Life 2 Combine type of structures being built on this old Victorian city. So there's a mesh of these two really weird art styles going on in the game, and it does work pretty well. But it's just unfortunate that for some reason, man, the world doesn't, grasp me the same way that Rapture does, or City 17 did in Half-Life 2. It's missing something. Maybe it's because of the graphics, like the watercolor graphics. I don't know. I just Also, another weird thing that this game does is they have a silent protagonist, much like they took that out of Half-Life 2's book as well. I think the reason developers do this is so that you project yourself onto the character, and I'm sorry, you feel as though you are them. Um, but honestly, I'm getting kind of tired of it. I mean, I just I hate watching so many people talk to my face and not being able to really say anything back. It's weird, and I mean, it works for Half-Life because like Half-Life invented that pretty much, but um, I just think other games just need to let Half-Life be the only one that does that. Let that be Half-Life's thing, and you know, other devs just need to make a character and give them, a unique dialogue so that he can, you know, characterize himself. It's it's a very debatable topic that I'm bringing up. The silent protagonist. Some people probably like it. I personally, I like it in Half-Life 2 because it works so damn well when Valve does it. But when other games do it, I find myself liking it a little less. Um, and a perfect example of why I don't like it in this game is that Deus Ex doesn't do it, and the main character has a lot more Alex. No, that was Deus Ex 2. Adam Jensen. He has a lot more character and to him, and I don't know. It just the story was a whole lot better, partially due to the fact that you did have voiced over dialogue in the game, and I don't know. The story is in Dishonored is also pretty, I don't know, just bare bones. Like they could have done so much more. It's weird because this game has so much potential, and it just totally misses the mark. I think barely. Like just a couple of different things that could do here and there could have made this game, I think, a lot better. I would be interested to see a sequel for this game because I think if they are to find that magic element that makes it a great game, then it could be a really, really great game. I mean, the fundamental elements are there, if that makes any sense. Like they already have a template to do something great. They just need to find their magic. Maybe hopefully Corvo can speak in the next one. But even if he doesn't, they can still make a great game and keep their silent protagonist. They just they need to do something that's uniquely theirs. I don't know, because a lot of the elements that we've seen before, and I think that honestly other games do most of the stuff seen here better. Deus Ex, for example, I think does pretty much everything that this game does, but better. Now, Dishonored does have some really, good level design. Um, maybe even better than Deus Ex's, but um, mostly everything I felt in Deus Ex is far better than Dishonored, and probably the biggest reason I like Deus Ex so much more is because of the atmosphere, because it had its own magic, because of the soundtrack and the cyberpunk style and how dark and just gritty and awesome it felt. I don't know. It needs to find. You can't just give a game a cartoony look and paint it watercolored and say that's your unique flavor. You got to do something more than that. I can't think of a memorable song from this game or any soundtrack. I just there's no ambient music or sound in it really whatsoever. I mean, the sound effects are pretty good, I guess, but just they're pretty much just shooter sound effects for the most part. With a little bit of, I don't know, just like magic stuff thrown into, I guess. But I don't know. This game could have been so much more, and the potential is there. Um, but I do not think it's as good as other people say it is. One problem I did have with it is it had a couple of levels I think repeated themselves, and that was a huge issue in particular because this was at the beginning of the game. Like it was like, all right, here's level one, all right, so you go and do level one, and then it's like, all right, here's level two, and you go and do level two, whatever, and then it was like, here's level three, but it's like level one. It's level one at night. It's like, I hope the rest of the game isn't like this. And then it was like, here's level four. This is level two during the day. And you're like, oh my god. If they do this one more time, I will sell this game. Luckily, I think they only repeated like two levels, I think. But that's lazy, dude. Like, that's just laziness. So, I don't know. But pretty much what I had to say was that, this game didn't have its own unique flavor. It didn't have the magic that it needed to make it a great game. And if it's just if it is just able to find that unique flavor and magic, then I think it has a lot of potential. This franchise, if there is another Dishonored or Dishonored 2, this franchise has a lot of potential. So with that being said, if I were to give this game a score on the overall fun factor that I had, taking into account, some of the good things, some of the bad things, I would have to give it, if 7 is average, I would give it like a 7.5. If 5 is average, I would give it a 6. So basically what I'm saying is it's slightly above average. Um, there is some fun to be had here, and a lot of people really, really love this game. And what really sold it to me in the first place was that it had such a great E3 showing. And when you watch videos of it, it just looks so awesome. But it's different when you play it. It's different. Um, I don't know. The AI in it is pretty solid, but it's not quite on par with like Far Cry 3's. After playing this after I played Far Cry 3, I was like, man, the AI in Dishonored has a hard time looking up. So if you're just like barely above them on a rooftop, barely above them, maybe like just like an awning or something, you know, just hanging over them, barely a foot over them, they'll have a hard time, seeing you, and they just don't know how to look up or down for that matter. I don't, but mostly up. They just can't. The AI just doesn't grasp the concept of unless they already spotted you and you climb some stairs or something, they chances are they won't be able to find you if you're hanging above them, and that's a huge fault when in a stealth game. if you're just able to just hang like 1 foot above everybody and just pick them off, then that's like Far Cry's AI didn't, you know, fall for shit like that. So I don't know. I just think, but overall, you know, the AI is pretty good. Uh, but yeah, like I said, if I had to rank it, 7.5 or 6, depending on your scale and whatnot. So I know I've been dragging this video on long enough, so I think it's time to say adios. And if you enjoyed it, I know this video probably isn't one of my best. I'm just talking BS, but if you enjoyed it, you know, give me a thumbs up. You can give me a thumbs down if you want, but you know, just rate the video. If you're feeling generous, subscribe, and I would really appreciate a comment if you'd like. That would be awesome too, because I always love reading comments. They brighten my day. So that being said, peace.